something from Nana Kwame, if you remember him. Trying to get closer to my producer Ziggy's generation, right? All right, let's shock without insulators.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Such a new, I'm a mother when you know you mean. We do a Bramun Sakamano, I'm a mato, don't think move. Mini Wapa, no, then I don't know what you do. Then I treat young somebody, and then I such a new, I'm a mother when you know you mean.
Joy 99.7 FM.
So don't think move. Mini Wapa, no, then I don't know what you do. Then I treat young somebody, and then
Okay, Odo Shock there, Nana Kwame. QUAME. Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. The tail end of a Ghana month, eh? You know, we're uniquely Ghanaian, eh? Indeed, some Ghanaian. Somebody was insisting that rice water is a beverage. How can you say that? Only in GH, but you're welcome to Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Last week we continued to explore the link between a happy mouth and a happy mind. Oral health and mental health wellness. So we're going deeper this week, huh? We're getting practical. We want real life clinical practice scenarios from my professionals from Platinum Orthodontics and Advanced Dentistry. Yeah, clinical practice and personal perspectives. Last week I had a message from a gentleman who, let me call it self-assessed halitosis, right? He believes he has bad breath. Spoken with him, has he seen a dentist? No, never, didn't, wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't. Haven't. So, on the basis of your own subjective assessment, a few people have responded in a certain way, so you believe you've got it. He's agreed to speak to us on the phone. He's 46 years old, he's married, wife has never mentioned any problem. Somebody in a jokish way at work brought this up. Sometimes he does his own self-check. Then I have a young lady in the studio as well. She had some challenges that, should I say, tiptoed into her self-esteem, her social awareness affected her in several ways. But I'm not the one going to tell the story. I have Dr. Novishi Akutu, lead clinician and specialist orthodontist with the Platinum Orthodontics and Advanced Dentistry. Next to her, Principal Dentist Yao Asamoah Edu. We're going to go through these issues. We tackled most of them last week, but we're going back over some of them. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. I can't hear you.
Oh, thank you.
Hi.
You were so mesmerized by the intro.
My intro was long,
It was good.
It's called oral gymnastics. That's the only thing they pay me for here, okay? If they decide to pay me. But you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Novishi, I've been threatening to label her, crown her Novishi by nature. But that's a different nature altogether, right? And yeah, you're welcome. And of course, Rachel.
Yes, please.
Wow. Have you been here before?
No, please. It's my first time.
But you've heard of Joy FM?
Yes.
Nah, you know.
Sure.
Nah, this is it too. But we're honored to have you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Right. Yeah. Last week, we built the bridge.
Yep.
We want the bridge to be solid. We want people to understand the linkage between. Get used to moving the mic closer to you so that my listeners don't lose you. Yeah, the linkage between your mental wellness or mental health, right?
Yep.
And your oral health.
Yes.
Okay. We got to understand that what happens in your mouth has relationship with what is going on with regards to your mental health.
Yeah.
Okay. We gave several examples today. We want to get closer, right, to those issues. But just by way of recap for my guests, what is it we're making so much noise about, this linkage?
All right. So, again, good afternoon to all the listeners. It's good
Today your bass has come, your radio voice is coming.
I had some food before, so
Some fufu?
yeah, I'm fortified.
Before too?
I just start early.
All right.
So it's good to be here again. I'm happy to take us through just a quick recap of what we discussed last week. So, to start with, we made it clear that when you come into the clinic, we are not just looking at your oral health in terms of your mouth, but we're also looking at you as an individual and seeing what that interplay is between what is happening in your mouth and what is happening in your life. And we all know by the definition of WHO that health isn't just the absence of disease, but also there's the state of your social, physical, and mental well-being. So
Right.
we are always looking at that when people come into the clinic. And so last week we basically began to discuss some of those issues. We talked about how it's imperative as clinicians that when patients are in the chair, as part of our history, we are also looking at their disposition, we are looking at how they behave, how they smile, how they engage, because all of those inform what is finally going to be our treatment plan for the patient. So
Okay.
that was some of what we were discussing.
Right. Novish, you want to add anything?
No, I think it's obviously this is the theme for World Oral Health Day 2025. Healthy mouth, healthy mind, and so this is why we are really looking into this actual subject.
Okay. Right. So you got it from my guests, the professionals, but essentially, what's happening in your life, in your mind, could be why you will go to these people. They're looking very nice, but me, dentist, them, they some way. But yeah, that is why you present. That is why you go to a facility and say, I have this and that problem. All right. But of course, there's an oral health issue related to it, or there may not be. We learned last week that some of us have some of these pseudo issues or psychogenic issues. It may not exactly be there in the way you experience it or believe it to be, and that is why you must present yourself for a full assessment to find out what's going on there. Last week, interestingly, Novishi chipped in that, she's realized from practice that CEOs that come to her practice, Tale, they are the people who clench and grind their teeth. And not only is this borne out or is this evident, but it shows from things she sees in their mouths. Can you just hit that one again?
Yeah, definitely, because there are two aspects to it. It's literally like going to the gym and building muscles. So when you look at them, their jaw muscles are overdeveloped. And then when you look into their mouth, their teeth are being worn. Okay. So the enamel is meant to be really, really smooth and undulating. And what you find is that it's become very, very flat.
Right.
And that's not what we are actually looking for. And once you've worn away...
They're grinding the teeth away.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, or really clenching, usually at night.
Okay.
And so they are unaware of it. And what then happens is that you wear away the enamel, which is the protective coating, and then you've now exposed dentine, which is going to get more sensitive and which may now lead to caries, etc.
Okay. But of course, you might not be a CEO. Don't think you're free from some of these challenges that we've been discussing, and we're going to, dissect deeper, right? You may grind your teeth, and I think last week Dede in Maryland did ask that. I think in our response to her question, we didn't quite, do justice to that. She was asking, so why do people clench their teeth, and sometimes even in their sleep? Why does this occur?
So this is where we know that it's basically psychogenic. So they're thinking about something, and when you are relaxed and really laid back, you're meant to have a small gap in between your teeth. That's just naturally there.
Okay.
But the minute you become anxious, the minute you're fretting about something, everything just clumps up and clenches.
Right.
So we find this a lot even in the teenagers, where towards exams, we have a lot of them, presenting with headaches, jaw aches, neck ache, etc. And that's all from overuse of the muscles. And we know that literally 2 to 3 weeks after exams are over, it will usually disappear.
Okay.
In that age group, what's very interesting is that it presents significantly more in the females than it does in the males.
Okay. So, your tension can actually translate, your psychological tension translate into physical tension. That's why when people like myself and we're teaching you relaxation, it's mind-body relaxation. It's not just physical relaxation, but some of these become behavioral traits and profiles that the professionals in the studio can detect in your oral health status. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so yeah, we've got a sense of this bridge. If I feel, I believe, or I notice from people's reaction to me that maybe there may be something offensive about my breath, right? I haven't had it conclusively diagnosed by either Yao or Novishi, but just this belief is enough to also cause some imbalance in my mental well-being. Yeah, is that what we're saying?
That's exactly it. I find bad breath in particular to be such an interesting condition because we are all so sensitive.
Speak for yourself.
We are also sensitive to the way that we are perceived, because we live in a social environment. You interact with people all the time, and so we are uniquely aware of the way we are perceived, how we dress, how we sound, how we smell.
Okay.
And one of the things that we are most conscious about is the way that our breath feels. And so even as we engage in a social environment, we are constantly paying attention to the way that people react to us. So you are paying attention to things like, do they move closer? Do they move away? Do they turn their head? Do they make eye contact? And all of these little cues are being fed back to us as ways by which we can improve the way we are communicating.
Right.
And for most people, when they come close to an individual and then they find the person pulls back, the cue they get is, oh no, something must be wrong. And because we are self-aware and mostly
you should have and you should develop a certain sense of social awareness.
You should.
Right? You get feedback from your world about who you are, what you look like, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Right.
But that feedback that you receive must be interpreted correctly.
Okay.
And that's where sometimes this goes wrong.
It can go wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're spot on, but you do need help.
Yes.
It's not something now you start twiddling your own dial and trying to engage in all sorts of behaviors, believing you are addressing it. Okay.
Precisely.
Right. Let me just deal with this with the Novishi. So this self-awareness as to how people perceive me, and it's not just breath. Okay, the formation of my teeth, whether they are this color or that color, and so on and so forth. Okay, even I've handled children who drool a bit. right? So as they are talking, there's quite a buildup of saliva, it drools, and so on and so forth. How early does this awareness, this consciousness form?
So it forms as early as 4 years of age, and it tends to peak in around about 7, 8.
Okay.
So you have that first bout in very, very early childhood. And so we are very aware that other than ears, the things that children bully or tease about in the playground after ears is teeth and people's dentition. And then as they go through puberty, adolescence, 11 and up, there's another peak. Now, the thing about this is that you have two things going on. You have what the person is being told.
Okay.
You have their own awareness, but we also have the fact that at around that age, that's when they are losing their baby teeth, etc.
Okay.
And they're becoming more aware of themselves. So you have those two areas where malalignment, things that are going on, spacing, teeth overlapping each other, losing teeth, spacing becomes extremely common. And for us, dental point of view, we want to see a child around about the age of 1 or 6 months after their first teeth come into their mouth. But when we are looking at alignment, we really want to see them around the age of 7.
Right.
So that we can start picking up little things that can be done and done relatively quickly
Did you
to get
say,
them
did
through.
I hear you say from age of 1,
Yes.
12 months,
Yes.
you would want to see a baby, so to speak,
Yes.
in a dental practice?
Yes. So at that age,
Is it that you're looking for work? I mean, I just want to get this spot on, right? You want to check and see a child.
Yes.
You're not insisting there's a problem, but you would want the child to be presented to a professional to check out the oral cavity if everything is okay.
Yes, and it's really, really important. The first most important thing is that the child has to establish a dental home. The second most important thing is that we want to be preventative. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be picking things up early.
Some of these problems can be prevented.
Yes.
Okay.
So we want to be advising moms, carers about what to do right from the beginning. And the one thing that we want to avoid is that the first time and their first experience at the dentist is when there's a problem.
Okay.
They fall in and knocked out a
That
tooth.
is why we associate you
etc.
guys with problems.
Yes.
Yes,
All right?
actually. Yeah.
Because that's when we present.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's
You
what
are the terrorist, oral terrorists, right? But you're saying get there before there's a problem.
Exactly.
If it's likely to manifest, we will pick it up early, give you the advice, and if there's a preventive intervention, we will undertake that.
Precisely.
Exactly, and it has to be about prevention. You know, look, we're in 2025, we have a lot of knowledge. And so it's about sharing that knowledge and making sure that we are really preventing things from happening. And I think that it happens naturally within a dental environment.
Okay.
The schools are doing a great job, but then us seeing the children as early as possible really gives that other layer.
Okay, great. 23 minutes past the hour of 2, and we're talking about this bridge, this linkage between your oral health and your mental health or wellness, okay? I know many of you, as soon as you hear mental health, you're thinking of illness. Please, 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 please. There's a distinction between mental illness and mental health or wellness, all right? That's what we're talking about with our guest from Platinum Orthodontics and Advanced Dentistry here in Airport Hills, Dr. Novishi Akutu. Yes, Orange. Akutu is the lead clinician and specialist orthodontist. They deal with all the alignment, corrections that need to be should I say, undertaken with regard to your oral structures, okay? They are vulcanizers, alignment, balancing, all those kind of things, yeah. And then there's a principal dentist in the studio, Yao Asamoah Edu is here with us. With them is Rachel. Rachel, my darling, what are you doing these people? What's your link with them?
These people,
Mm-hmm.
They are my saviors.
They're your saviors.
Trust me.
I trust you.
Trust me.
You look like I should trust you.
Yes.
So you know them up close?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll come back to you. But you have tagged them your saviors.
Yes, please.
All right. But on the phone line, I have a gentleman. I'll leave his name out. Last week, he shared with us that he identifies with everything we talked about. He believes he has halitosis. He says the best part of 5+ years. He's about 46. He's married. He works in the education sector and so on and so forth. Chief, how are you doing? Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh. Okay. Let me just come back to Rachel then and we'll go back. He's on? Yeah. Can you hear me? I can't hear him at all. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Nortey. I can hear you.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us. Last week you sent us a WhatsApp message. We have a bit more information about you, but I've mentioned your age and so on and so forth. Now, you've believed you have halitosis, bad breath, for the past 5+ years. How so? Why?
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't know initially. So one day a friend mentioned it to me in a joking manner. So we all laugh over it, and then since then I have myself noticed that yes, the problem or the challenge is becoming more severe.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Have you on your own tried to check, okay, this friend passed the comments. You were able to, should I say, treat it as a joke, but it raised your concerns. How do you check? How do you know that you have bad breath?
Yeah, so even though I've not been to any dentist to examine it medically, I have been doing self-examination. So at times I even smell. I mean, at times I smell it in myself. At times when I put my hand, my palm in front of me and blow air,
okay,
I can smell this.
Right.
So that's what I've done.
Okay, but you're married, aren't you?
I am.
Has this come up in your marital relationship?
Oh, not at all. It has never come up.
Your wife has never said, honey, darling, sweetheart, babe, X or Y, I think there's an issue. Your wife has never said that?
No, she has never mentioned it to me.
Okay. Outside, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, she has never mentioned it to me. Even my children have never mentioned it to me.
Okay. Outside this friend who brought it up and you treated it as a joke, has anybody else said or done anything that was of concern to you?
Yes, because of the work I do, I interact a lot with people. So at times, during my interaction, you realize that somebody holds the nose and all that. That signals to you that there is a problem somewhere, or whatever you are saying, the breath that is coming out of your mouth, there is a problem with it.
Okay.
So I've realized that one too.
All right. Now, you mentioned in your text message, and I've spoken to you as well, that this has greatly, significantly affected your self-confidence. Tell us a bit about that briefly.
Yeah, it has, because at times
Joy
some
99.7
responsibilities
FM.
come to me that I have to take up, but because of this challenge, I turn it down because I realize that I'm going to interact with people. So if this problem persists and I'm labeled as such, I'm not sure I'll be able to carry on my task or be able to execute my task effectively. So it has really affected my work.
Okay. Right. Thanks for sharing with us. I have promised, I'm just saying this for your hearing and benefit as well as our general listeners, that we will try to facilitate and build a bridge with this gentleman and at least get him a proper assessment, a proper comprehensive assessment. He mentions also that he has oral cavities that he's concerned about. Okay, is there anything I've left out?
No, I think that is all.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you after the show, and then we'll see how we can develop this. So that is our friend who sent us a message last week. Any quick comments on this? It's been there for a while. Okay. He estimates about 5 years plus. Okay. He's in the education sector. He has students and other, and they are... he says they also sense or show that there's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is exactly what we were discussing in the beginning, where you have an individual who has had, in his case, really just one instance where someone outrightly said it. But in his case, what is even interesting is that the way boys are, and so it could have just been one of these throwaway comments that boys just make. But
don't throw them at me. Right. It should be something random, casual, perhaps.
It could have been.
All right.
But then for him, it was significant because he took note of it. And that's what we said, that there could be an incident or feedback that you receive which you could interpret wrongly or rightly.
So it's activated a sense, a kind of hyper-vigilance.
Precisely.
Seek and you shall find.
Precisely.
Right? But it does seem that there could be something there. He mentions oral cavities, so there could be issues about his oral health as well.
In fact, if you look at his whole history, from never having seen a dentist, from even being involved in a job that requires him to speak to multiple people or engage constantly with people.
Right.
There are several things that, looking through that history alone, could give you clues as to the possible presence of halitosis.
Right.
Because just talking, I spend 1 hour talking here and I'm ready to drink 3 gallons of water. But because you are speaking a lot, you are losing a lot of water.
You drink water after my program?
But you are speaking a lot, you are losing a lot of water. You become dehydrated. That causes your mouth to get dry. You could actually have some kind of bad breath from that. So there are all these elements in his job which tell you that there could be things that he actually is doing on a daily basis that could actually be causing...
Which can be modified.
Right.
Exactly. So he may be doing or engaging in certain things. There are certain things that are likely to make his mouth dry and so on and so forth. Exactly. He could be eating certain things. We do know that certain bacterial infections and things like that in the stomach and so on and so forth can also be related or associated with bad breath. Am I right?
Yeah, and then also you have the other side of it, which is that a lot of the things that people do that we call home remedies can actually worsen the situation. So one of the most known ones is actually using mouthwash. And if you use a mouthwash that has an alcohol base, that alcohol is going to dry out the mouth. So you initially have the fresh breathness for about 8 to 10 minutes, but then it dries out the mouth even further, which means that whatever scent was in there has now been potentiated and made significantly worse. And so we just need to take a look at, first of all, habits, things that may be causing it, things that can mildly be adjusted. But basically, it's in the fact that he's never visited a dentist.
Right.
So now, instead of having had 80 cleans in his lifespan, he hasn't had a clean. He also mentioned cavities. So it shows that he has a predisposition to having bacteria in his mouth that are quite powerful. So all the balance there has been thrown off.
Okie dokie. 33 minutes past your hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living with me, Nortey by nature. I'm with the professionals from Platinum Orthodontics and Advanced Dentistry. Novici threatened to give me an honorary diploma in orthodontics. Not because I know her job, but I talk a lot. But hey, WhatsApp is 055 1111 997. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and X as well. Shortly, I will activate the phone line so you can ask the questions. We'll get you out to talk a bit more about options, even though we haven't assessed this gentleman yet, for bad breath and a few other things that may be related. But I still do have my beautiful Rachel in the studio, who has crowned these people as her saviors. All right. to make things a bit brief before I bring her in, yes, she had some oral challenges, pretty relatively early in her life. They affected her to the point where I think her parents brought her or took her to the dentist. Okay? We've talked about some of the other things, some of diseases and so on and so forth. You've heard Dr. Akutu mention a couple of times your bite. Okay? And when your jaws are closed or when your mouth is closed, there's a certain allowable, I guess, gap between upper and lower teeth and so on and so forth. There's a certain alignment that should be there, right? And I believe, Dr. Akutu, this is one of the reasons why she presented initially.
Yes. For me, when I met Rachel and when I saw her, one of the really important things is that we always get our clients in because the assessment starts from them being really far away from us.
Okay.
So at the time that we call a client in, we're already looking at everything from how they are walking to how they are holding their actual head to whether they actually smile at us, whether they are shy and put their hand in front of their mouth. So we are looking at all of that. And from a professional point of view, the first thing that you noticed about Rachel was that her bottom jaw was further forward than it should be. So even when, if I had
about age, what was it, 18?
Around about age
Rachel.
16.
16.
She was 16.
Okay. So yes, and so we are able to pick that up straight away. And so before she had even sat in my chair,
Right.
I already knew the features that I was going to see in her mouth.
Okay.
But obviously there's always a range, and she was approaching a rather extreme range for how far the bottom jaw was ahead of the top jaw.
Hang on a sec. Okay. If you've just joined us, this is Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. We're digging deeper, yes, into that gated premise you call your mouth. Oral health, yes, it's a gated premise. Typically in gated premises, there's security, everything is set up nicely and laid out. This gated premise can have from kiosks to containers, it can have poor sanitation, it can have all sorts of things, right? I've got the guests in the studio who know what the conditions in there should be like. But we're saying that, look, when this oral cavity messes up, it does have a relationship and a corresponding impact on your mental well-being. Okay, we've just spoken to a gentleman on the phone who believes he has significantly bad breath, right? He's detailed some of the impacts and some of the challenges, right? We put that on the side burner. My reading suggests to me a recent, not too recent, 2022, Totime. Is it Tometi? No, Tometi, right? Did something in La. My friends in La. Yes, he did a sample and he wanted to look at self-assessed halitosis in a sample of people in Labadi. Yes, LA. All right, our own Los Angeles. And he found a prevalence of about 18% upwards. And people typically who exhibited or had this self-assessed halitosis also had alongside that issues with their oral health, poor oral health, this, that, cavities, and so on and so forth. Okay, so yes, we've talked to that person, but we've got Rachel in the studio, and Dr. Akutu just summarized, and she says they saved her. Okay, this is not a church, right? So she mentioned that her lower jaw was significantly in front of her upper teeth. Okay, I know we can all fool around and do all sorts of things with our mouth and our lips and our jaws, but she's suggesting that there was some, is it a malformation or a deformation, Doc?
We prefer malformation.
Okay, so something has gone wrong. Typically, should the jaws or should that, upper and lower teeth line be straight in alignment at par?
So basically, the ideal is that your top teeth is 2 millimeters ahead of your bottom teeth.
It should be in front.
In front, yes, and also 2 millimeters vertical overlap. So the teeth, the front teeth should be ahead of the bottom teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. And it should also cover the bottom teeth.
Right. But we do tease, unfortunately, people whose front upper teeth are leading, right? Okay. And we give them all sorts of names. But you're saying that normally, naturally, there should be that gap where your upper teeth overlap your lower teeth. Now, let me just seek clarity from you whilst announcing the phone line 0302 216541. 0302 216541. All right? Because we want to understand this so that people who may have some of the features we're describing will seek help and also understand that there's help available. These things can be handled, managed, right?
Yes, definitely. And I think that that's probably the most important thing, that really there is so much that can be done. And what we are basically saying is that even if you just want an opinion or you are not sure, then you should really get in to see your own chosen dentist. Yeah, just to assess that. But for those of you who are online, then I'm holding up a model showing what the bite should be.
All right.
So top teeth ahead of the bottom teeth.
Okay.
Obviously, if it's too far ahead,
hang on,
it's a
slow
problem.
down. There's a camera just in front of you. Okay, so you're holding up to this camera.
Yep.
Right. So this you're suggesting is okay?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
so we have the upper teeth overlapping the lower teeth.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that in Rachel's presentation, it is the reverse.
Yes.
And significantly so.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So this would affect her appearance?
It affects the profile and the appearance, yes, because now the bottom jaw is even further forward than the nose. So rather than it being going inwards towards the neck, it's now coming outwards.
So it's almost as if your chin has shifted forward.
Yes, that's exactly what has happened.
Now, Doc, let me ask this for the benefit of my listeners. And again, I'm activating the phone line 0302 216541. WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997. All right? We're in clinic here. Right? We're doing real life stuff. So you showed us, and you've actually been able to adjust what you're holding to show us that, well, let's keep to her instance, her jaw was pushed forward and her lower teeth are ahead of her upper teeth.
Yes.
And you suggest that the norm should be a slight variation favoring the advancement of the upper teeth. Overlap, if I can use that word.
Yes.
Over your lower teeth.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Rachel, are we on track?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, I have a caller on the line. All right, caller, hang on. You are ahead of my lower teeth. Wait. Right. This is helpful, right? So, this affected you.
Yes.
Was it just your appearance? What was the problem for you?
For me, it was everything. My appearance, my confidence, my mental health too.
Okay.
Not just my appearance.
Right.
Because I like what you said, a happy mouth is a happy mind.
Exactly.
And as a teenager growing up, where you're developing, you're in friend groups, in school.
And you are the generation that has everything out there.
Yes.
In my time, please, blackboard was black and chalk was white. There was nothing like Instagram, this, that, DP, selfie, all of that. So it mattered to you.
Yeah, it did matter.
Right. As a teenager,
yes.
I know at that time when you're very conscious of yourself and people pass comments of what you look like, who your friends are, and so on. So this damaged your confidence, your mental.
Did. And that's why I used the word saviors in the first place.
Okay.
They didn't just save my teeth from further malformation, but my confidence too.
Right.
My self-esteem as a girl.
Okay.
They definitely boosted my self-esteem and my confidence.
Okay. But at that time, oops, I have a caller on the line. Is the caller still there? Yay. Please beat me when you meet me. But I can run fast. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Ooh. I've lost the caller. Please call back. Ziggy will send you units, right? But let's come back to you. I hope I get that specific caller back. I have a few things on WhatsApp. So, he's back? All right. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, my name is Patrick.
Patrick, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Accra.
Okay, share with us, Patrick.
Yeah. I have a question. Some time back, you had a dentist in the studio, and I called to speak about my son who had some extra teeth in the mouth, and I was told it was shark teeth. They could come out, or if it was so bad, I could get them removed.
Okay.
I eventually had them removed, and but he has this little bit of bad breath.
Okay.
In the mouth, even after I remove it, he does regular brushing morning, evening, uses a mouthwash from time to time, but I still perceive a little of bad breath in the mouth, and I want to know what can be done to mitigate such a situation.
Okay. Thanks for
yes.
Right. Thanks for sharing with us. I have another caller. Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon.
Hi. Who am I speaking to?
From Amasaman.
Just I got the Amasaman, but your name?
Oti
Boateng. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Amasaman.
All right. Go ahead.
Last week I was back in town. I traveled to Eastern Gatwick, so the network was bad, so I don't catch you. But I want to ask Nortey, if you have they always say that if you have a jury, it's big. Can they do something to become smaller for you?
Yeah, midline there.
If you have a what?
Yeah. If you you have a teeth, but there's a space in your teeth.
Okay.
But that one, can you make them smaller size for you?
All right.
And sometimes it's always, the food always come and get into under your teeth. I have to take some sticks and something to move it.
Okay.
Well, and my second question is, I see these guys, they are born like, I don't know how to call it. They call like these children who born them. I don't know. They call snake children or something like. But you see their teeth, it's sharper. It's not full. And they level their teeth for them. You see that teeth are sharper like an animal one. It's not how our own is.
Okay. All right. You asked 3 questions, though you say there are 2, right? That's Oti Boateng, normally in Tema, but he's in Amasaman now, right? So he's asking about gaps, right? In teeth, can they be, should I say, filled, or can there be some adjustments made? He says there are also children, maybe related to the earlier question, shark teeth and other stuff like that. Can we do things about that?
Yes. So spaces, we have to be very careful because some people love their spaces and even think of them as a beauty mark.
Especially if you read Chaucer. Go ahead.
But closing spaces, there are loads of ways of actually doing it. So that can definitely be done. Okay. And you don't even have to fully close the space. You can decide whether you want it partially closed, etc. Right. But that can definitely be done. Shark teeth, multiple teeth, teeth that do not look normal, so are very pointy, etc. Those also exist. It's just sometimes the actual shape of the teeth, and we can modify the shapes of the teeth. It doesn't take long. It can be as quick as 30 minutes for something to be modified if we need to adjust the shape or the color. And then the third question was?
What did he ask again? He asked about the shape, the children, and the gap. I think that was it.
Yeah. So all covered.
All right. 48 minutes past your 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me do some clearance of teeth, if I can say so, on my WhatsApp. Hello, what can be done for a case of slightly bad breath in a child of 8 years, even as there is regular brushing of teeth morning and evening? Now, this is something in the gentleman I spoke to as well says he does that morning, evening. He brushes his teeth. He's got the mouthwash and all that. Still, he perceives something. The gentleman who said he's had the shark teeth removed for his child, or I think it was a male, his son, still perceives some bad breath and wants to know what kind of remedial paths he should be following. All right. So this is also about an 8-year-old, and they are asking about slightly bad breath. And I know there's a grading that the dentists use depending on what they perceive and identify after assessing you. I'll come to them in a sec. Hi, Nortey. There's a video circulating on social media claiming that most toothpaste on our market contains sodium fluoride and that swallowing it can cause cancer. How true is this assertion? Kojo in Ashongman shares that. Okay. He wants to do a fact check with my guest. Good afternoon. Welcome to my home. Oye inafienya chale. Darling, I receive it. All right. So, sodium fluoride, cancer.
Sodium fluoride does exist in toothpaste. That's where the fluoride, which makes the teeth stronger, is. You are meant to spit out your toothpaste. Ingesting a bit of it is not going to cause any problems. But yes, if you sat and drank a gallon of it every day, then there would possibly be significant side effects.
Do.
Not possible.
Right. So by her being, the way she said, if you drank a gallon of sodium fluoride every day, right? She's essentially saying no, because you're not likely to get cancer from this source that you've shared.
Exactly.
Right?
And so the actual risk is ridiculously small.
Okay. Right? Ridiculous. You see the way she says it? I mean, yeah, please. Me, I say no, Daddy, right? Unless you are literally having lunch, which consists of several tubes of toothpaste, and even the percentage of that in regular toothpaste, again, is negligible and shouldn't raise this concern. But he did say there's a viral video. That's why I'm hitting it so hard. Yeah. All right. So let's come back to business. I think children and these different degrees of halitosis. Yeah. Okay. So that we can quickly come back to my dear Rachel.
All right. So just very quickly. So for the young boy who has the halitosis, when it comes to toothbrushing, we talk about frequency, but we also talk about technique.
All right.
Right. So that's the first.
So it's not just the number of times and when you're doing it, but whether you're doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing.
Okay.
And also all the other things. Because what is interesting is that when it comes to bad breath in particular, we spoke about the fact that we have bacteria in all of our mouths.
Okay.
But the bacteria which are responsible for bad breath, they thrive in the areas that have low oxygen.
Okay.
So we call them anaerobic bacteria. And these are the areas that are like in between the teeth, deep in the gums.
Okay.
Those are the areas where your normal brushing alone would not be sufficient.
Okay.
So we always advertise that
normal brushing, even if you are doing the right thing, will not be sufficient.
Would not be sufficient.
Okay, great.
So what we always advertise is that you want to have these adjuncts, like dental floss, like interdental brushes.
All right.
I'm showing this, and this is what it looks like. And you want to use these things to clean in between the teeth as well.
All right.
Because they actually help to clean those areas that the bacteria thrive in.
Okay.
So first of all, you have to make sure you've settled what I call the local issues. You want to make sure he doesn't have any cavities, because those could also be present.
Okay.
So once you've dealt with all of that, then you start to consider the other possible causes.
Right.
And so young boys, he could be having chronic respiratory tract infections that could contribute to that. But you want to settle the local factors like presence of decay, technique when brushing, those things once settled, you can
deal with the low-hanging fruit first, right? If there are other issues that, then of course you'll deal with them as well. Exactly. It could be that you settle these low-hanging, easily identifiable and remedied ones. That person could have relief from the symptoms. Precisely. Okay, but there's another level. Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to add on to that, which is to say that one of the major things and the push this year was to go from brush your teeth twice a day to brush your teeth and floss. Okay. So what we're basically saying is that if you're not cleaning in between your teeth, you are missing as much as 30% of the teeth. The other thing which I want to pick up with this particular age group, we had an 8-year-old, we had a 10-year-old, is that they're at the stage where they are changing over. They are losing some of their back baby teeth, and the adult teeth are coming through.
Right.
And because the teeth are a little bit shaky or wobbly, you find that they just do not clean as well. Because every time they touch it, it causes a little bit of discomfort. So they end up with bits of blood in their mouth, and denatured blood that has been there a long time, smells like a rotten egg.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of the time where the issues are coming from. Not cleaning in between the teeth and not brushing certain areas well, because they in effect avoiding those areas.
Okay, right. We've got a few minutes left, but we're going to use them, and I'll get a little extra time from Ziggy, because I want to zoom in on Rachel. So this is what you found when Rachel first presented, that her lower teeth were way, way, way ahead of her upper teeth, right? So is this a malformation of the teeth and the gum, or does it involve the jaw? I heard you mention jaw. We all know that the lower jaw is movable and all that, but is it that her lower jaw is permanently protruding, and therefore, as a result of the jaw shifting or growing in that direction, she has this, should I say, advanced lower teeth ahead of her?
So her bottom jaw was definitely further forward
Okay.
than her top jaw.
All right.
So the fundamental issue was a jaw problem.
Okay.
But then what then happens when it's been there a long time? So in Rachel's case, we saw her at 16. I would have loved to have seen her at 7.
Okay.
Is that once it's been there for such a long period of time, the teeth themselves also now start misbehaving
Okay.
to compensate.
Right. So does it mean that Rachel was born with this malformation?
What we know is that just like height, etc., things get more noticeable as people grow.
Okay.
And so it may have been very, very mild, but definitely by the time she was 6, 7, it would have been established.
Okay.
And that's why we like to see them at that age when we're looking at jaw and teeth alignment.
All right. So we all know we have friends, people. I mean, our faces are different. Somebody's nose is prominent. Somebody's nose is a bit, is like Parliament on recess. It's gone back a bit. All right. Somebody's cheeks are very pronounced and so on and so on. So this would cause a certain distinct facial appearance.
Definitely.
Are we saying that if somebody has a pretty advanced chin or lower jaw, right, and some of the features we're describing that Rachel had, they should be concerned?
I feel that they should definitely get it investigated.
Let me rephrase that. I have a caller on the line. I'll try and take that as well. But if this is what my family, this is what we look like.
Yes, and that's perfectly fine. But there are two things. First of all, if anybody wants to see Rachel's progression, then it's being featured on our social media handles, which is Platinum Dental Services. So you'll get to see how she started, what happened in between, and how she ended. But it can be how you look, but we have certain indices.
Okay.
And we have what we call an index of treatment need.
Okay.
Would that person benefit from treatment?
Okay.
And for us, that index is first of all international. And secondly, it looks at 3 things. It looks at function. It looks at aesthetics, how things look like.
Okay.
And one of the crucial things about it is that it says what would happen in the long term if nothing was done.
If we do nothing about it.
Yes. And in Rachel's case, she was scoring the highest on all of those 3 areas.
Okay.
And so this was a case that if it wasn't treated, things were only going to get worse.
Okay. Great stuff. Let me take this caller, Ziggy. Hello? Hello? Oh, I'm so sorry. This is so deep that I don't want to miss it. So Rachel has gone through steps. Rachel, you've gone through steps.
Yes, please.
Okay. So have you finished school?
No, my 6th year of
Right.
pharmacy school.
Of pharmacy school.
Yes, please.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Would you have gone to pharmacy school if this hadn't been done?
No, please.
Why not?
I could say that for a fact. Because
Why
even
not?
from primary school, junior high school, I didn't really like going to school because of my confidence, my self-esteem.
Okay.
I was made fun of a lot. I was called all sorts of names in the book.
Right.
It wasn't easy.
Right.
Even to secondary school, it wasn't fun for me at all. So I
Because-
don't think I would have gotten to where I am now
Okay.
if I still had the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are in pharmacy, right?
Yes, please.
6th year.
Yeah, my 6th year.
Right. How long has it taken you to, should I say, get Rachel where we are now and how she's looking. I know it is on your pages, your social pages, right? My listeners, I will give you how to find this. But let me play the devil's advocate, late man. Are you knocking her jaw back with some hammer? What exactly? I know there are braces and certain orthodontic interventions. What have you done? Have you removed? This is not plastic surgery.
No.
So what have you done?
It's plastic surgery for teeth.
So how did you save her? She said you are her saviors.
And so we really looked at Rachel, and we decided to use braces. But there are a lot of different types of braces. Yeah. And in Rachel's case, she probably ended up having around 4 different types of braces. And the treatment lasted 22 months. But the one thing I want to just highlight about Rachel is that the only word I could use when I met her was that she was despondent. So everything, she literally came in like, I'm just here and there's no hope. And so she was extremely, and it basically touched me.
Right.
And I could tell that there was just so much potential there
because
that it was being hindered.
She had lived with it for 16 years. Who are you, the Messiah? All right, Rachel, am I speaking your words?
Yes,
What
you are.
at all are you going to do? And she presented with her parents.
Yes.
Who were also concerned.
Yes, significantly.
And bearing a lot of the burden alongside her.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And so, how long has it taken us to get here?
And so her treatment lasted 22 months. And during that period of time, she had to come and see us approximately once every 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
And she was, of course, an ideal patient because you could tell that she wanted the outcome so badly that she was willing to do whatever it took.
You need your client to cooperate. To
want
it.
Yes.
Because some things get bad before they get better.
Exactly. And this is the thing when we're talking about people's health state, especially with braces and alignment. You have to do things that may bring more attention to their actual teeth.
I wear braces, people see
they are being drawn to what's going on in my mouth before it gets better. But thankfully, actually, now there are types of braces that are almost invisible. And that just look like plastic coverings. So we're finding that more and more we are really looking at ways to get the results without them having to go through that additional burden and further attention being brought to themselves.
Right. Rachel, so you went through all that.
Yes, I did.
Are you wearing braces as we speak?
No, please. I'm
Really?
done with my treatment.
Okay.
Yes,
You
please.
see, because of the topic and everything, the way I'm looking at you, because I don't want to believe you are the one in the earlier stages of the intervention. This is the same person.
Yes.
Right. Doc, you're holding, is this some
I
of
am,
the...
because I just wanted to demonstrate
just quickly, because-
the actual shift. So these are what regular braces look like.
Okay.
But we also need to remember that you can actually have braces that are on the inside of your teeth.
So nobody
So
sees
tongue
them.
side so that nobody sees it, as well as these which are plasticky
Right.
and which are clear. So again, now we have various options.
Okay.
But every brace can do different things.
Okay. Right, I'm out of time, but Rachel, Charlie, I'm obsessed with you and your story. But what does it feel like to wear braces for the first time? We see children in our schools when we were younger, and so on and so forth. You're wondering, woo, what does it feel like?
Well, for me, I was on a journey to the smile I always wanted to have. So I was happy.
Okay.
Yes, I was so happy to be to start the journey, to wear the braces.
It's like refusing glasses and realizing that you can't read without...
see,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
So I was just happy to start. And as I said, I met my saviors and they want to help me. So I was happy to start my journey. Yes. Again, for the first time, something new is in your mouth. So you may feel a little bit, like what's in my mouth? What's in my mouth? But as time goes on,
Right.
you get used to it.
Okay. You
That's
got
it.
used
It's
to
normal.
it,
Yeah.
and you were should I say, committed and determined.
Yes, I was.
Right. So, you started at 16.
Yes, please.
22 months. Right. How old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Should I ask you the big one? The one I'm dying to ask.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No, please.
No. Can I apply? All right. It doesn't mean it's because of this that you don't have a boyfriend, okay? Please, when we are studying, we don't like boys, girls things, right? We study, we get the qualification first. But you're so courageous talking about this, and some of the milestones of your treatment are documented, illustrated in social space.
Yeah.
Are there people who will tell you that, but why do you want to show all this?
I love to show it. If I can be an inspiration to someone.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Nobody discourages you and says, oh.
No.
Okay.
You
wow.
can't discourage me. I know what I went through. And look at me today.
Please, I won't try to discourage you again. I'm so sorry. Docs, it's been wonderful. It's been awesome. But more importantly, we hope we've not only informed but transformed people's understanding of this linkage and what is available out there. Very often I belabor the point because I feel it is almost a crime for people to suffer when there's help available, right? It's almost a crime. For the gentleman I spoke to with regards to the halitosis, there were about two of them. I've spoken to one. I will beg, pretty please with sugar on and platinum on it, right? If they could help me at least get them the first primary or basic assessment. Once we know what is in there, Ultimate Health will go and look for other things to do, and then you will decide how you proceed, okay? So my fingers are crossed. I've got my best smile. Rachel, am I not smiling?
You are.
Thank you, darling. You see, we'll do things together. So this is what we want to do, almost to make a big case for those who are out there. This is a gentleman who has never been to a dentist. So Dr. Novishi Akutu, lead clinician. Yes. And Dr. Yao Asamodu, we thank you so much. Rachel,
Thank you.
Charlie, hurry up and pass the pharmacy so that the next time you come, you're a guest.
Yes.
You're a resource person.
Yes. Please.
Deal?
Yes, deal.
All right, great. Many thanks to Ziggy. Ziggy, smile and let me see. Please, your side teeth are leading something. I have diagnosed. But for many of you who listen to us, many thanks for tuning in and staying on with us on Ultimate Health. The important thing, even if you feel that something is leading something or something is behind something, please, the doctors know what is serious and requires intervention and what may be within the norm. Right? Don't say you listen to Joy and therefore you start giving people names or putting them by force in a taxi to Platinum or any other dentist. Right? But it is important to see the qualified professionals to get the requisite attention and ultimately improve your quality of life. Right? Having said that, I will smile only and put myself on mute. Vibrate only. Many thanks to you, my discerning listeners. Many thanks to Ziggy Bedu, my producer, and the team from Platinum. I know there was a Platinum wedding, but if I talk about it, it will be Kokonsan, for which I will not be paid. So I'll leave that. Congrats to the couple, right? Stick and stay. Ziggy, I think, Ziggy, are you still in Ghana month mode? So more Ghanaian music. Let me give you this one. From the late Tommy Redu. I miss him so much. If you know why and how he passed, really sad. But he says, hey, me don't move, ye drew. My love has weight. It is heavy. Stick and stay. Don't go away. This is Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Nortey by nature. I'm out like that.